Hello, once again, welcome to THD Online Special Interview. Today we are having a special interview because we're talking to the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, no stranger to youths of this country. Also, is officially the NPP candidate for the coming mayoral election of the Cardiff municipality. Honorable, thank you so very much. It's been, a short notice for this interview, but as usual, this place has always been our place, and we are always welcome there. And in fact, at some point, we don't need invitation. We just call you, and there we are. Yeah. Since you were appointed as the Minister of Youth and Sports before the 2021 presidential election under President Barrow's leadership, since then you have been considering the welfare of young people in this country. What motivated you to run for the office of the mayoral position in KMC?
Well, thank you, Mr. Haji, and good greetings to everyone who is watching the Tales of Haji Drame. Good to have you here. Well, the motivation is actually came from people, and it's people's requests. And of course, I'm also somebody who is interested in local governance and councils. I was a councillor at one time, nominated councillor 2008-2012, and I did throw my heart in the ring in 2018. That's the last local government elections. But of course, like you said, later part of 2020, I was appointed minister, and I've been doing my best as a minister. But time has come also for us to go back to local government, and the people of the municipality and the people of my party, the National People's Party, reached out to request and encourage me to run. And of course, after several consultations and based on what we know about local governance and what we think the council should do and what is being done now, I decided to go in for it with an intention to win and be able to deliver a council that is a people's council, a council that focuses on the priority needs of the people of the municipality and deliver services that are going to change lives and change the setup and everything in the Cardiff municipality. Primarily, that is it. It's more about the motivation to deliver services.
Considering your current position as a Minister of Youth and Sport, you are exposed to many opportunities.
Yeah.
And why are you sacrificing, these opportunities to run for a position that is going to be contested by you and someone?
That's true. A minister is it's a reasonably privileged position, and yes, like you said, a lot of issues that happens around here. But for me, as a person, my motivation to serve in public office in government has not been about what position you hold and what privileges or benefits come along with it. It has always been about serving communities, and this is something that I am okay with, because growing up as a young person, I've always been engaged in community work, from the Ibo town in the whole of Serekunda to everywhere else in the country. All I've ever done is voluntary, and most of it is from Red Cross, from ICO to NACO to all of these other events. We are not paid. And that is my orientation as a social worker, as a social person. And if I see an opportunity where I can be able to deliver more, yes, I can go for it. The minister gives you an opportunity to work with everyone else in the whole country, including at the executive level, where the highest decision-making body of the government or of the Gambia. But a council is where you are able to impact more on the ordinary lives, on issues that deals with people's normal existence as human beings. And that's why it wasn't very difficult for me to accept a proposal to go back and contest for it. And of course, like you said, somebody else is there as an incumbent that we're going against. But in the end, it's about the people of the municipality who needs to make a judgment of what we tell them, what our programs are, and what they have seen that person do in the last 5 years, and be able to make a decision. But we believe that with our program, people will give us the opportunity to prove that council is not more than what is happening at the moment.
There are some other people who are saying that you want to leave the ministry because there are a lot of pressure at the Ministry of Youth and Sport to deliver. Do you agree with that?
No, No, I don't agree with that. Yes, there is pressure at the ministry. There is no doubt about it. There is pressure in the sense that the expectation of the people is way too much. The requirement of what government should do to the sports sector and to the youth sector is huge. Yet, we receive very minimal in terms of budgetary allocation, and that makes it difficult for us to operate. And people's perception about individuals is not very critical. Some people don't think critically about the relationship between a minister and the staff and the minister and what government allocates you. For them, if success happens, it's not your success, it's somebody else's success. If failures happen, it's the minister's failure, but they never care to know how much central government or the Minister of Finance gives to us. That enables us to work. So if something is not happening, they don't think, oh, government didn't give them money. All they know is the minister didn't do it. But how can the minister work when the funds are not there? That is a reality. But that is not the reason why I am going into KM. It's not about that pressure. I know, I mean, like I said, I've worked in these sectors, and pressure has always been part of it. But every good leader must be ready to accept the pressure and find a way to resolve those things and work around it. And that's what we've been doing. A lot of things that we're able to do in the last 2.5 years, it's not just by sitting down here and wait for things to come in silver platter. No, we go to initiate certain things. That's why we're able to do all these things we can do. But to answer it in a direct way, that is not the issue. It's about me thinking of being a minister and being a mayor and comparing the two and believing that, yes, we've started something here, but we believe we can be able to deliver there, because there you have a budget that is assured, and you're going to wait for somebody else to give you. Revenue is generated and is spent based on what your programs are. And the mayor is the one that is the policy head and the one that drives the vision of the council. And that's where we think we can be able to perform better.
Many people are saying that President Barrow just want to relieve you from your ministerial position, and that is why he allowed you to contest under the NPP party ticket. Yeah. In the same vein, others also argue that you are the one who can, unseat the incumbent of the Kanifing Municipal Council. What is your take on that?
Well, I've heard all those arguments, both scenarios, like you said. But what I know is that the president doesn't need my permission if he wants to remove me from minister. He does not need anybody's permission if he wants to do it. The Constitution empowers him to appoint and empowers him to remove and appoint someone else. And before I was here, under President Barrow, there were 2 other ministers under his regime. And he changed those people and brought another one and changed that one and brought me. And there are others that he has also relieved of their position. And it has just been normal. So I don't see any reason why, if the president wants to relieve me from position, he would find a covered way of allowing me to go and run for mayor. He doesn't need that. And I know that in my 2.5 years of office, we have done our best to deliver to the sport and the youth sector. And those that are in the sport can confirm of our efforts and the changes that have happened in this ministry in the time that we've been here. So, and President knows that. President recognizes that. We talk about it, myself and him, and he appreciates what we are able to do over the period. And it's that trust, I guess, that's why he reappointed me in May of 2022 after the presidential election. So I don't see any reason why he would sit after a few months and then want to change me again. No, but we discuss these things and we all have a common platform. Now, do people think I am the only one that can remove the incumbent or can pose a threat to the incumbent? Yes, we've heard about those things. And as a party, yes, that could be part of the reasons why people ask me to come. I'm not going to deny that. That's a reality. But it doesn't mean that that's true. Any other person could have been able to win, because we believe that the NPP, APRC, and NCP, NRP, all of them together has an upper hand in KM, no matter the candidate. But it's not just about winning. It's about having the idea and the ability to deliver once you are there. And that is what is put together to conclude on my candidacy.
Honorable, the mayorship election is just at the corner. If elected, what kind of support or opportunities do you have for the young people and disability, people with disability in particular?
Well, no, for the young people, they can expect a municipality that is going to be a youth-friendly municipality. And sitting down here, I've been saying that, when we win, the the municipality will be the sports center of the Gambia. It will be the sports city of the Gambia. Because I know the benefits that sport brings to people in terms of economic growth, in terms of individual cognitive development, in terms of maintaining peace and security in a country, and then, you know, the happiness of the individuals. Because today, if you have sport facilities across the country, if you have youth centers across, not across the country, across the municipality, you have youth facilities across the municipality, young people are engaged in that. They don't think about, you know, sitting down in the ghettos and be engaged in drug use or, you know, getting into crimes and, you know, being delinquent. They don't, because there's something that they have to do. And then sports is one of the biggest industries in the world now. If you have sport facilities, you're encouraging people to do sports, and a lot of talent can be tapped, that can be exported outside, and it will be some revenue for the country and economic growth for the country. So that is what we intend. We want to utilize the resources that we have at council to ensure that we upgrade our football fields, our sporting facilities, our youth centers for the young people. And that is doable, and that's what we try to do even here. But like I said, the difference between here and the council is the allocation. When we are receiving right now 0.26% of the national budget, that's very minimal. But in the council, you set your priorities and you know what you want, and then you can allocate the amount of money that is needed. For every year, maybe you can do 2 sporting facilities or whatever, and eventually before the end of your 4 or 5 years, you would have done a lot. The same thing applies with the youth. When I was there in the council and head of the finance committee, we created a youth fund where we were supporting young people who were interested in business to set up something. When I came here, I did the same thing. In 2021, in January, at the Arch, the president launched the $20 million youth revolving loan and grant, where young people in the numbers have access to be giving grants to start businesses or giving loans to expand on their business. And we've had success stories in that also. So it's the same thing that we would be doing at the municipality, either funded by the council or by private sector that is willing to come and support. About the issue of people with disability or differently abled people, I mean, everybody who knows me knows to that I've worked in this area very well. When I was a program officer at the Child Protection Alliance, I've worked with the Gambia Federation for the Disabled, NUDI, that's National Union of Disabled Youth, and the Visually Impaired, GOVI. And all of these organizations, their leaders, we know each other. They know how much I have participated, even in the advocacy and the drafting of the disability bill. You know, and that continues. So they know that they have a supporter in me. And our plans would be, how do we empower those people who have disability with the same grants that we have, ensuring that offices that we have control over are accessible to the people with disability, and so many other programs. But the most important thing is the economic empowerment of people with disability. And that's something that the council will definitely be working on to ensure that people who are differently able have access to microcredit to be able to support themselves, go into business and sustain themselves.
Honorable, you are leaving the Youth and Sport Ministry as one of the most successful Gambian to hold that position, stated by many pundits recently in this country. What do you appreciate the most as the legacy of Bakary Badjie as Minister of Youth and Sport?
Well, at the moment, I would say our qualification to the AFCON, that's something that we can be proud of, and it's not necessarily Bakary Badjie, it's about me being at the helm of affairs at the time that we qualify, and the ability to pay for the government to finance the qualification rounds, the training camps, and the participation in AFCON, something that is the first time in history, and taking a huge fan base. Because when people went to Cameroon, there were almost 50 fans that were there, together with journalists and some other individuals from the sporting fraternity that were all taken by the ministry, chartered a special flight for them, different from the players' special flight, provided accommodation and feeding, and even paid them allowances for the entire 3.5 weeks that the team was there. That is something that we can be proud of, and the team reaching the quarterfinal. Our volleyball team, we know how they're doing at the moment. There is so much success in that area, and so many other support. But at least one thing, our sports has grown, and that's something we can be proud of. But I think another issue that we can be proud of is the current work that is happening at the stadium. This stadium was built in 1984, and there has never been any kind of refurbishment. At the moment, we bring in the stadium to an international standard with all the individual seats, the covered, the pitch being upgraded, with the rooms being demolished and equipped with the modern equipment, the anti-doping room, the medical room, CCTV cameras, and the monitoring is all what we'll be having at the stadium. So that's a success that we can look back, even after the ministry, and be proud that it was during our time that we did this. Finally,
very soon we'll come to the end of this interview, but let's go back to disability. Yeah, as you mentioned, you have worked with the differently able as a minister and youth activists as well. What do you think is the way forward for the physically challenged Gambians in KMC?
No, the way forward for me is the first is a national one, but it affects those who are in KMC. The implementation of the act, with the Disability Act, is there. It has been passed. It has been assented by the president, but a lot is not been done about what the articles say. So that's one thing that you know, should be a way forward for people within the municipality to read and know what the acts are, and ensure that buildings are in line with what the law says. People accessibility and support is also there. The second part is, and for me that's what I think is the greatest, and like I said earlier, everything revolves around empowering people economically. You can talk about all these other laws, you can talk about everything, but if somebody is not somehow independent economically, he's always going to be dependent on individuals. And that's where we need to have a program that is going to support people with disability as a way forward. The rest is for themselves to continue to have their union. I know there are unions, there are organizations, but there's sometimes individual working together separately. But what we could do is to ensure that we bring these people with disability and they form a strong association. That way it's easier for people to pass support through the association, and it trickles down to them. So two things is what I would consider a way forward: togetherness and the implementation of the act.
You've worked with them and you know they are constrained. One of the challenges as well is the infrastructure that also affect people of disability. What value can Bakary Badjie add to the sensitization of eradicating that from the system?
No, like I said, I've been an advocate myself for those things. Unfortunately, as a minister, I cannot be able to speak about those things freely before, but if I am holding another position, that gives me the opportunity to speak. But in the end, what is important is to have the understanding that there are people who are challenged, but they have all the cognitive mind and everything to develop, and we all work together with them. So a Bakary Badjie individual or holding position would certainly be considered as an ambassador for people with disability, and they can count on me for any work or any event, whatever they're doing, where we can probably add value.
Finally, let's talk sports and football. Before we go, Gambia played in the final of the Under-20 AFCON Cup of Nations in Egypt and lost to our neighbors, Senegal. And I'm pretty sure you were expecting to hand over the trophy to the predecessor, to the next minister coming, as a great way to welcome him. What will that say, or what will say the minister under your leadership has helped Gambia to achieve in football globally? What will you say that has happened?
No, our success in football is a collective success. All of us individually contributed, organizationally contributed. So, like I always say, a minister cannot say I'm the one that's responsible for the success. Neither can the players or the GFF unilaterally claim ownership. It's all of us together, because each one of us have a responsibility that we perform to be able to get what we want, which is, one, we had football as an association or a federation that is investing in training and supporting the structures and getting a coach that is good enough and understand the players, and then government comes in to provide the resources that is needed to be able to sustain the team. What used to happen in the past is that players would even pay for themselves to come to the country and play, and they would not even get refunded sometimes. They would arrive 2 days or a day before the match. They're tired, they're jet lagged, they get into the field and play and lose. There is usually no training camps or whatever, but all of that changed. Now government is able to provide funding to ensure that the players' tickets is taken care of and they arrive on time, and ensure that they are going into a hotel which is very good, a 5-star hotel, and they're very comfortable, or 4-star, and they're very comfortable, and their mad bonuses and camping allowances are paid on time. And then, anytime there is a window, GFF will organize a test game, and government will provide the funding for the team to go and converge in one place and do their trainings, and the coach is able to test the players, and he knows who is good and who is not. And that also what brings about the compactness of the team. So all of these things is funded, and government provides the funds. And that's why, when we always talk about it, we said the government funding is a huge booster in the success that we are getting. So this is where we come from, AXA. But the rest of it, the technical part, the management part, is more of the coach and the association. But financing is key. And every player, every sport person will tell you that when he is motivated enough, they perform better. When they are not motivated, they get disgruntled and they get into the pitch and they wouldn't do well. And we are happy that we've been part of that success, for not just football, but for basketball, for athletics, and handball just came back from Guinea. Our cricket team just came back from Rwanda. And these things were difficulties for government to do. But now almost we are supporting quite a number of associations. Wrestling is left today this morning to near Niger. And and your association, the Paralympics, also get some support from us. So all of these, we can be proud of that. We're doing our best with the limited resources to ensure it happens.
The Under-20 is coming today. What are we expecting from the ministry and the Gambian public?
Well, there's a planned welcome for them at the airport at around 7 o'clock, and then they'll be going to driving through the Westfield area and going to GFF. So one of these days they would come to the president as customary, and then government would do their part by giving them adequate compensation, or compensation that will show to them that the executive and the Gambian people appreciate their efforts and the fact that they're able to raise the Gambia flag to that high. I wouldn't say what exactly, but I know that we have almost done it every time they go out, and we will do it this time around.
Honorable, thank you so very much. On behalf of the THD, thank you and wish you all the best of luck in the mayoral election and your next endeavor.
Thank you, Mr. Haji. We also appreciate the fact that you're able to find time to come around. And of course, thank you for all the work that you do for the country, not just sport, but journalism and all the other areas.
Thank you so much.